Imagine you had a crush on some girl for years, or dude, and you finally get the confidence to go talk to her and express your feelings. And then y'all live the rest of y'all life happily, lovely, and wonderful. Now today we're going to talk about the opposite, Obsession. If you haven't seen this movie, you're living under a rock. Probably movie of the year so far if we're being honest. Now did I actually go to the movie theaters and see the movie? No. I watched it on a website where every 15 seconds somebody would stand up. But now I finally seen it in HD 1080p quality, and today we're going to talk about it. So we start with a character named Bear. Not a real bear, this bear. And this dude is shy. He's a loser, I'll be honest. And he's been crushing on his best friend and co-worker, Nikki, for years. And we see him trying to work up the courage to tell Nikki how he feels with his friend Ian. And from a long day of doing absolutely nothing, Bear comes home to his cat dead. Yes, gone. And it turns out the cat somehow got into the pills and chugged them all. A glitch for the Twitch. And Bear is laying down looking at Nikki's pictures. Classical method. And he gets a call from Nikki too. Good methods. I can applaud you for that. And it turns out Nikki is putting in her 2 weeks at the job. And this dude Bear is devastated. He wants to see Nikki every day at work while getting paid. And Nikki also says her necklace fell down the drain. So Bear, as a good guy, he goes to the store and gets her a new necklace. But besides going for the easy layup, he goes in for the half-court shot with his eyes closed. He sees something called the One Wish Willow, where you get one wish and you break the stick in half and it comes true, which doesn't really work, of course. You know, why would that really work? It can't be. So besides getting the necklace, he puts it back and he gets him a One Wish Willow, and he goes to get food with all three of his friends, Nikki, Ian, and Sarah. And now as you look on the court and see who's on the court, we have 2 offensive players and 2 defenders. We already know what situation we're in right now. So Bear is waving Ian off, calling for the ISO. So Bear and Nikki both go get drinks, and Nikki is clowning Bear for his bad choices. And Bear, this is bad looks. You gotta start going to the rim. She playing heavy defense on you. Casey Wallace, Marcus Smart, Miles Bridges in the playing game versus the Miami Heat. Come on, bro. And Nikki asks why was he so busy at home. The answer is the cat dying. But this dude Bear is lying straight to her face, saying he was cleaning. His room is kind of clean though. Doing his taxes, he did not touch a single paper. But with Bear being the good guy, he said he'll pay. And Nikki decides to pay. Now, this is either a good thing or a bad thing. Let me tell you why this is a good thing. She cares about you. Now, let me tell you why this is horrible. First, you can be like my homie Gregs that has to pay him back for Popeyes when he asked me if I wanted some or not. Or she might think you're broke. I think it's the second option. Now, Bear is trying to talk about the necklace, but he keeps getting interrupted. And Bear tells Sarah that his cat died, and she gives him a big fat hug. Respect. But after they leave, Nikki, she wants to go home. And Bear, finally going for the layup, says, I'll take you home. And before they go home, Ian has the audacity to say, get your home safe.
Ew, don't say it like that.
Ew, don't say it like that is absurd. That whole parking lot would have been gone. But while we're in the car, we realize that Nikki, she wants to be a writer. That's why she quit the job. And Bear tells Nikki that he got her something. And look at the look on Nikki's face. She does not want anything he has in store. I wouldn't either. His name is Bear. And we get to Nikki's house. And we can obviously see right here that Nikki does not want dude. She says that Sarah has been talking about him all day. And Bear says she likes her as a friend. And Nikki leaves the final dagger before leaving the car. She says, when I have a crush on a guy, nobody knows what. And Bear calls Nikki back to the car. This is strike one. You should have just shot your shot already. You should have shot your shot while y'all was eating. This is bad looks. Casey Wallace. And he says he lost his thoughts. Boy, if I was in that car, I'll smack you. But when she's walking away, he throws up the airball of doom, the Valentine. He says, goodbye, freaky Nikki. Yo, she stopped so fast, it wasn't even funny. And Nikki was straight up disgusted. And not gonna lie, she started pressing Bear. This is bad looks. Again, this dude is 0-14 from the field. He's shooting like Kyle Kuzma in the playoffs. And Nikki gives him the perfect lob and says, do you like me? He folded. Until he pulls out the One Wish Willow. Yes, it all comes back to the One Wish Willow. I'm gonna give me one in real life. And Bear has the audacity to say, I wish that Nikki would love me more than anyone in the whole world. And he snaps the stick. And all you see is Nikki just posing in front of the house looking straight at the car. What was you feeling like? And she walks up to the car and say, hey, let's go back to your house. And she starts acting super weird, doing this little tween behind the back move. Who taught you that? And obviously, we all know at this point that the One Wish Willow is real. She's a demon now. The spiritual connection is not there anymore. We talking to a real demon. So we arrive at Bear's house, and you know, while they're doing their dues, the real Nikki comes back and starts freaking out, saying, hey, what am I doing here, bro? That's not me! But then Demon Nikki comes back and calms everything down. And this is one of the reasons why I don't like Bear. See, look, a person like me, I would have blew her hair smooth off. Immediately. No questions asked. So Bear ended up sleeping on the floor. Respectful. And bro starts looking up. How does the One Wish Willow work? And bro, these replies are insane. We got some dude named Plastic Possession. Bro said,
no, they 100% don't work. They collectibles. Anyone who breaks a stick is an idiot.
So we got Whispers in the Woods.
Yes, I swear they work. It's the most insane thing I ever seen.
So this last dude said,
yes, they are really hard to find, but my mom who has been ugly her entire life is gorgeous now.
Jesus. Just calling your mom ugly on the internet? That's insane. So Bear wakes up and he goes into the kitchen and sees his cat in a memorial. The dead cat. Yo, come on now, Demon Nikki. Still kind of weird for a demon. And besides Bear kicking her out, getting rid of her, they just go ahead and head to work. So we talking to this dude Ian. In this whole conversation, Nikki is just staring at him. And this dude Bear just starts lying straight to Ian's face saying Nikki needs help. He didn't mention nothing about a One Witch Willow or anything. Even while Ian is trying to talk to Nikki, she is still staring at dude. But after work, this dude Bear says, hey, Nikki, I'm not taking you home. She said, alright, and hopped straight in Ian's car. So we back at Bear's house and he's on the phone with Ian and all you see through the window is Nikki. And she knocks on bro's door and she basically says that she was on drugs. By the way, these are all lies. She says she was on drugs and she says she apologizes. And this dude Bear folds so fast. And they start living a happy life, wonderful times. This dude Ian is jealous. Look at him. And this one night, Bear and Nikki are having dinner. And this dude Bear, he keeps hitting trick shots. I don't understand. He says, how's your dad doing? Knowing he has cancer. And so Ian starts calling him and Nikki is getting mad. And Ian reveals that Nikki's dad is A-okay. The dude is chilling. And this dude Ian starts cracking the code, knowing that something weird is going on, something fishy. And when Bear's on the phone, all you see is Nikki stand up and start looking at him. Boundaries, man. Boundaries. So Bear goes back to the table in pure shock. And Bear shoots another airball saying, does your dad really have cancer? And Nikki starts tweaking. She says,
No, don't do that. I thought we was having a nice date.
In front of everybody. Me personally, I do not know how Bear is so chill. Everybody in that restaurant would have been gone. Same with Nikki. You're not like that, bro. Pipe down before this AA-12 goes straight to your noggin. But after a long night of dinner eats, they both go to sleep and Bear wakes up at 3:45. And we all know what happens at 3 a.m. And Nikki is nowhere to be found until she tells Bear, go back to sleep. That's what I'm telling you. I would never be in this situation. Her head would have been blown off. And she says she's watching him sleep. And she goes right back in the corner. Honestly, you got it, bro. But in the corner, she starts crying, saying she hates her dreams. And she looks like she's about 80. And Bear listens to the direct orders the demon just gave him and laid right back down. Honestly, I'm starting to think the demon is Bear.
What if I'm the demon?
And Nikki starts hitting a traversal emo with flowers in her hand. And it turns out, those are just for Sandy. Respect. And all Bear does is lift his shoulder once and Nikki starts tripping again. And Charlie Kirk does exactly what she says. So we spawn in the morning and Bear checks a mirror and a piece of his hair is missing. And he confronts Nikki about it. And besides walking in the room crashing out saying,
Hey, don't cut my hair ever.
Again?
he walks in the living room with straight smiles on his face and goes in front of her as she's reading a book upside down and says,
Yeah, let's not do that ever again. And please don't watch me while I sleep. It's kind of weird. See ya.
and we see her duct tape the whole door saying,
Hey, if you can't leave, you can't go to.
I ain't gonna lie, this was weak methods. The dude got the duct tape off so fast, and when he leaves the house, Nikki just stands there and smiles. And then she starts peeing on herself on the carpet. All you gotta do is just feel bad for the real Nikki. She just gotta stand there the whole day, legs hurting with pee. It's not even that crazy for her. I did that before. Speaking of things I did before, yes, I have a Patreon now where I'm gonna be watching movies, yes, with the face cam on, watching shows I never seen before, and making videos out of them, and doing random series like watching every Marvel movie until Avengers Doomsday. So if y'all want to join the Patreon, check the link in the description. But now we're back with Bear. Pause. But now Bear is at work, and Nikki made lunch for him, which is actually really nice. Good job, Demon Nikki. And there's a picture of Bear and her smiling, saying not me, and obviously putting the connections through my brain that that's the real Nikki talking. And look at this smile. Holy smokes. Honestly, she should be in Smile 3. And making a note saying, what's the verdict? Cat, knowing that Bear wants to be a food critic. He starts eating, chatting it up with Sarah. And Sarah starts making fun of the notes, saying, what's the verdict on the cat?
Saying, what's the verdict on the cat?
We all start putting the connections together. This dude is eating his dead cat. Yes, look at the meat. First off, me personally, I always check the meat before I eat the sandwich. Look at that meat. It's rotten. It's gray. And he throws up. But driving Ian home, Ian invites him to a boys' night. And Bear's like, alright, that's cool. He actually does need some time away from Nikki. But in the car, Bear decides to call the One Witch Willow number. And some random dude with a cheeseburger on his chest says,
Hello?
yes, he really said hello. Besides saying, hey, welcome to One Witch Willow, how can I help you? Not gonna lie, I was the same dude. I used to answer the phone at work saying, yo, what's up? And Bear asks if he can alter the wish besides canceling the wish. You in too deep, bro. And they said they don't really do that. And the guy says the only way you can fix it is by killing yourself. And he says, you want to talk to Nikki? And all you hear is painful screaming. Nikki's really going through it. And this dude Bear does not care. And he hangs up. Then he's about to go in the house to confront Nikki about cooking his cat. But when he walks in, all he sees is Nikki filled with doodle and pee all over the carpet. And of course, this dude Bear has to be the good guy and says, it's okay, just go shower. If I'm Bear, I swear to you, I'm taking us both out. But while Nikki is in the shower, Bear says, yeah, I'm gonna go to the boys' night tonight. The shower shuts off immediately. And she says, well, I could put on my shoes and dress and we can go too. And Bear confidently says,
Nah, it's a boys' night.
and Nikki starts crashing out in the bathroom. And turns out, he folded. So while at the party, they're playing a game, a little Jenga game where you gotta answer the question. And this one black dude gets a Jenga block and it says, choose anybody you wanna sit next to. And this dude chooses Nikki. So him and Bear switch spots. And it's Bear's turn to get the Jenga block. And it says, kiss the person on your left. Guess who's to his left? It's Sarah. And Nikki starts looking over there crazy. And you know what she does? She gets up, moves Sarah out the way, and stands there. Not gonna lie, Sarah, you sweet for this. I would never let somebody punk me like this. You could have got a mean jab from the back. And she threatens everybody in the room, saying, if you mess with Bear, you mess with me.
Turn that shit off!
Sounding straight out of Disney Channel. Then out of nowhere, real Nikki comes back in control and says, it's not me. And cracks a bottle and hits herself in the eye. Not once, but twice. And starts bleeding everywhere. And then Demon Nikki comes back and says, my fault, y'all. W prank? And this dude Bear already knows. So back at the house, Bear finally stands up for himself, saying, Nikki, bro, you tripping. Stop being weird. And they start yelling at each other. You know, toxic people stuff. And Nikki does a reverse walk. Not gonna lie, when I first seen this, I thought this was the most toughest thing in the world. I added this to my arsenal. I do it every time before I shower. And then she did a little Shangoon pump fake. And this dude Bear is terrified. He said,
Hey, bro, you can have the bed all to yourself, bro. I'll leave you alone, bro. Please, please, please.
and she says, all right. And she comes back with a real life threat saying, if you don't sleep with me, I'm killing myself. So while they're sleeping, Bear gets a text from Sarah out of all people. This is not the right time, Sarah. You gotta chill. That's what Bear said. And Sarah says, I'll come to you instead. No. So Bear is gonna sneakily try to get up and go see Sarah. But while he's leaving the room, all you hear is the real Nikki saying, Bear, eliminate me. Please, I beg of you. Now this is where we see Bear's true colors, because he does not listen to the real Nikki. He leaves, officially putting Bear on the hate watch. So Bear and Sarah are chilling in the car, and she has a paper knowing that she's trying to go to college. And this is her yes or no. And while talking, Sarah says, maybe you need a real person in your life. And Bear is low-key agreeing. I don't think he's liking Demon Nikki anymore. Speaking of Demon Nikki, she just bashes her head in with a brick. And Bear could not believe this, man. He is a part of a murder now. This is more than demons. But when he's by himself, he checks the letter, and it ends up that Sarah did get accepted. So this is where he loses it. He rushes into the store and goes to get a One Wish Willow. And he goes to Ian's house and saying, bro, I need you to say these exact words. I wish for $1 billion. And he actually gets it. So in this moment, this is what I'm thinking. I used the money to get me an AA-12 and blow Nikki's head off and live my life happily ever after. But no, his day one sells him. This is why I never liked Ian. You know, I don't like anybody in this movie. And Nikki starts tripping, actually looking just like Sarah, which is crazy. And she starts yelling in Bear's face. And Ian comes in and gets his head blown smooth off. Respect to Demon Nikki. This is why I was talking about the whole movie. But all Bear had to say was, I love you. And now they're cool again. And Bear runs right in the bathroom. And you know what it's time to do? It's time to eliminate himself. He has the gun and he's ready to blow his head smooth off. Demon Nikki kind of getting smart too. She's trying to lure him out, saying, I think we should take time off. But no, that's not working on Bear. He's too intelligent for this. So he gets the weapon and about to blow his head off. But nah, he can't do it. But you know what he can do? Get the pills and turn out just how Sandy did. But right when he indulges the pills, all you hear is the One Wish Willow go off. And Nikki wishes the same thing Bear did, but for Bear to love her more than anything in the world. Now we have Demon Bear, and they're both happy. Then Bear dies. Rest in peace, Bear and Sandy. And now Demon Nikki is crying, and she's about to blow her head smooth off until real Nikki comes back, and oh boy, her life is over. All she sees is 3 of her friends dead. And honestly, that's movie of the year so far. Just wait till Avengers Doomsday comes out. But yeah, if y'all like this movie, make sure y'all like and subscribe. We gonna watch some other ones on the Patreon that I mentioned before. Now get out my face.